Hi everybody, welcome back to my Dungeon Boss Beginner Series. This is episode 12, and this is the second episode in a row where we're going to talk about portals. Today we're going to be focusing on the Heroic Portal. The Heroic Portal is probably going to be your main source of the good heroes. We saw with the Great Portal that you can get a lot of the basic one-star heroes and just some heroes to start playing the game, and overall build up a basic roster to kind of get you through some of the first few chapters of campaign. But ultimately, once you start saving up your gems, the Heroic Portal is going to be your main reason to spend those gems until you get up to like level 50, 60, or even max at 70, when you start really spending money on gems or spending gems on runes. Your gem expenditure is going to be mostly done through summons. So this is going to be how you're going to get certain heroes and just ultimately build yourself a stronger roster. So we're going to go back into the portal here. The second one on the list is our Heroic Summon. The difference between the Heroic Summon and the Great Summon is you're rarely given free Heroic Summons. You certainly don't get one free one every day, and they don't cost just gold. They're going to cost you actual gems, so you have to basically determine how you're actually going to use them. So when I first started playing, the community was not nearly as extensive. There was not as many resources out there to say, here's what you should do, here's how you should manage your gems and manage your summons. Basically just trial by fire, you just kind of do it. So I'll never forget the very first person that I got out of the I think I spent the very first time I got 300 gems. I did a Heroic Summon, and I got Alexander. And at the time, I thought, oh, Alexander, he's a 3-star, seems pretty good. He's got this awesome damage reflection skill. That'll be good. He can just wipe everybody out. And as we all know, over the last year or so, Alexander's not that great. So using your heroic summons one by one are probably not the most beneficial uses of your gems. You're going to be stuck with a lot of buyer's remorse, and you're ultimately going to be wasting essentially one summon every time you get 2,700 gems. So even though I have some that are actually sitting here that suggest that they're free, I accumulate free summons from doing guild stuff. So our guild does well enough where we get free heroic summons. I let those accumulate until I get a times 10 summon, and then I'll ultimately use them. So I don't recommend using a single free summon. This is at least 10 times more of an emphasis than with the Great Portal. The reason being is if you look at the cost of a times 10 summon, it is 2,700 gems, but a single regular summon is 300 gems. So basically, instead of paying 3,000 for a times 10, you're actually getting 300 discount. In addition to that, there is a newer feature that some of us older players, not really older, but more experienced players, when we first started out, we had it really, really, really rough with the heroic summon. Because now, for the last few months or so, new players, they've been absolutely spoiled with the heroic summon. If we go to, I think it is this here. So pretty much once a week, you're going to see something like this in your events tab. And it's going to be guaranteed a certain hero, or 25 tokens if you already have them. We never, ever, ever saw this when we first started. So a lot of times you could get an extra feature that said, oh, Zom is featured in the Heroic Portal, but you weren't guaranteed to get him. You could blow through a ton of summons and not get him. Brambo was featured. You could blow through a ton of summons and never get him. So now at least once a week you can actually guarantee that you're going to get a particular hero, which is amazing for newer players, because then if you do like to save your gems and you don't want to pour them all into just random summons, you can wait for specific heroes to come up. So for example, Koros is up right now. If you wanted to get him because he's the newest, latest, and greatest thing, I would say go ahead and use a times 10 summon to do that and get the unlock. And if you have a lot of gems saved up, you could do another 4 of those times 10 summons and get another 100 tokens, get him to that next star level. Keep in mind that when you do the times 10 summon, it says on here, so guaranteed full Koros unlock or 25 tokens have already unlocked with every 10 times summon. Now this is a little bit misleading, And some people ask about it. I see it in Gen Chat every once in a while. Does that mean that if I do a times 10, I get a single Koros thing? And the answer is yes, but yes, asterisk is what it is. Because this doesn't prevent you from getting more than just the one. So, for example, when I did my first times 10 summon to get Koros, I actually got an unlock on the first one that I did, and then about 4 or 5 summons later in the 10, I actually got 25 tokens for him as well. So because he's actually featured in the heroic portal, his drop rate's going to come up a little bit more compared to the other guys as well. So if you do drop a times 10 summon on him, it's likely that you might get an extra set of tokens for him as well. So it won't take you, for example, a full 10 times summons to get 250 tokens for that last 6-star. Obviously, it is going to take you a lot of summons to max him out, so you got to pour a ton of gems down there if you really want him that bad. But you're not limited to just a single unlock. So if you do a times 10, expect to maybe get one additional one as well. So what I recommend doing is taking a look at the portal. I think personally, when you look at the heroic summon and you look at the actual hero drops, I think this list here actually changes. It would behoove you greatly before you do any times 10 summons to check to see who's on this list here. Some of them will never leave, but I feel like some of them also come and go from time to time. So I posted in one of my other videos about the is it worth it when you do the jackpots, and I mentioned in there that I didn't get a single furnace, I didn't get a single Igorok token, I didn't get a single Bramble token or Zom token. There's a bunch of guys that I just didn't get, and I was expecting to get at least like one of those, and I never did. So definitely take a look at who's out here, because if the hero focus is somebody that you want, obviously you want to do it. But if you're just doing a times 10 summon to do just a times 10 summon, I don't generally advocate for that because it seems like kind of a waste of gems, especially considering who you're actually going to get. I have a bad habit of getting a ton of Alexandros tokens. It just drives me up the wall. I also get a lot of Emily tokens, and I also get a lot of Sifu tokens. I don't know why that is, but in this case here, Igorok is in here, Indigo is in here, Masuda's in here, Pigneus is in here, Ice Boom. So there's people in here that I didn't get hardly any of when I did my massive jackpot wave. I did get a couple of Ice Bloom and Ice Picks during that time, but no Igoroks. And actually, I don't even see Furnace in here, so you can't get him right now. I don't think he's just a VIP, but then you see Koros down at the end. So if you're doing times 10 summon just for the sake of summoning, double check this list and make sure that you're okay with who you're actually going to get. Because sometimes you might end up with a little bit of buyer's remorse there. So what we're going to do here, just so you can see what it actually looks like, I'll actually use some of my gems here so you can get a sense of what's going to be coming out of the times 10 summon. Doesn't mean that you're going to get all sorts of these hero tokens and it's just going to be the greatest thing ever. Maybe, maybe not. It depends on where you are as far as your level goes. So I know for a fact that I'm going to get the 25 Koros tokens because I already have him. It may not be the very first one that comes up, but I will get it at some point. So what I'm more interested in is, out of the 10 summons, how many of these are junk summons? Because just like the Great Portal, there are going to be some that are just, they're goats and they're just not that great. So anytime you get purple chests, obviously those are great. The other ones that you're going to see, you're going to get either chests or you're going to get the equivalent of unlocks. And some people don't really see the designation between those sometimes. You'll be able to tell based on the hero tokens you get. So the purple chests are usually good because they contain Celestial Evos. Not a ton of tokens, but it's better than none. But it's certainly not the equivalent of getting an unlock. So if you're doing this just for hero tokens, I wouldn't do this too frequently. I would tend to save my gems for a 10-time summon on a hero that you know you're going to get based on the feature, because just trying to farm specific tokens, it's going to be slow going here. And 4 tokens of Hansuke, it's nice that I need him, but I can't expect to get all Hansuke tokens. So there's a gold chest. Notice it's still 4 tokens. So the rewards don't change that much in here, but the quantities do a little bit, except for the tokens. The tokens will stay the same. One other thing I want to point out about the heroic summon here is this is going to be one of your main sources of these guys here, these XP potions. Once you hit around level 35, 40, 45, you're going to hit some serious XP sinks with some of your heroes. And that's why I advocate not leveling up some of the bad heroes to start with, because you're going to need every single XP potion you got come level 40s and 50s, because they're going to be tough to come by unless you're pouring a lot of gems into these heroic summons. So there's my 25 Koros tokens. And actually that was enough to get him his next star level too, so that's actually good for me. So I got 25 indigo tokens now. So this is the equivalent of an unlock where I get extra tokens. I don't get just the cheapo 4. Those are ultimately what you're looking for when you do heroic summons, when you get these massive token quantities. Because the 4 tokens, yeah, they're great, but they just do not compare to a 25. Or even with some, I think there's even a 35 unlock as well. So the more of those that I get and the less of the chests are actually the way that you want to go here. So there's another gold, get a couple of Celestial Evos, and a Balog token, nothing great about that. And there's another Koros unlock as well. So this is what I was saying before, is because he's featured, his drop rate comes up a little bit higher than others. So I did get a few extra ones here as well. Now, if in a perfect world, I'd love it if he just keeps coming up and up and up and up and I get a couple of hundred tokens, but that's unlikely to happen. There's another unlock, 25 Emily tokens. There's another purple chest. Again, those are 6 tokens instead of 4. Usually it's 4, but I guess occasionally it does change a little bit, but almost every time I see it as 4 when I do it. Another gold chest. Some phenol tokens. Another gold chest. A couple of Emily tokens and a couple of Celestials and some XP potions. And that was it then. So hopefully that gives you some insight in terms of how you want to use your heroic summons. For newer players, you absolutely have to save your gems for a time send summon. I know it can be difficult to acquire that many gems, and it might seem like it's going to take forever, but it's going to be so much more worth it than just doing an individual summon. So if I could prevent any one person from doing just a single basic summon and ending up with Alexander as your very first 3-star hero, or even somebody even worse, who's possibly worse out here, probably Balog. Balog could be even worse for you if you end up with him. Obviously I would love if everybody's first 3-star hero was Igorok. I didn't get Igorok until like level 55. So if you're not getting him, just hang in there and just keep hammering those things out. But definitely don't do a single summon. So with that said, that's going to wrap up this episode. Stick around for the next one, which is going to be the Honor Portal. Thanks.